Tonight's theme is connection, the kind we seek out in the dark, on screens, in empty apartments, when we just want someone to talk to. Most of the time, that's all it is. Most of the time. The third story tonight is the one I keep coming back to, not because of what happened, but because of what was found afterward. What it suggested about how long it had been going on. I want you to stay with me for that one. Stay with me. The account he made for me. I was 26, living alone in a one-bedroom in Akron, Ohio. November. The kind of November where the sky never really gets light, it just goes from dark gray to lighter gray and back again. I worked remote, medical billing, and my social life had basically collapsed after a breakup in August. I'm not proud of it, but I started spending a lot of time on Reddit. Mostly the loneliness forums. Not posting, just reading. It helped to know other people felt the same way. I got a DM sometime around the first week of November. The username was something forgettable. I want to say it was something like Thornfield J, or something with a letter and a surname. He said he'd seen a comment I'd left on a thread about not knowing how to fill evenings anymore. He said he understood that feeling. We talked for about 3 hours that first night. He was easy to talk to. Thoughtful. He asked questions and actually seemed to read my answers before responding, which sounds like a low bar, but at that point in my life it wasn't. Over the next 2 weeks we moved to Discord. Then to texting. He said he lived in Columbus, worked in logistics, had a sister he was close to. The details were always specific enough to feel real, but I never thought to verify any of them. The thing that started to unsettle me, and I want to be precise about when this shifted, was around week 3. He began referencing things I hadn't told him. Small things at first. He mentioned I must be tired because I'd had a long week at work, but I hadn't told him anything about work that week. I assumed I hadn't forgotten. Then he said something about how it must be hard to sleep with the street noise outside, and I remember staring at my phone because my street is genuinely loud at night, buses running until 2 a.m., and I had never mentioned that either. I asked him directly. I said, "Have I told you about that?" And he said, "You must have, you tell me so much." I let it go. The last conversation we had was on a Thursday. He said good night, and then, just before I put my phone down, one more message came through. It said, "The light looks nice from where you have it in the corner." I have a lamp. In the corner. Visible, I realized, from the street below if you stood at the right angle. I didn't respond. I blocked the number. Blocked the Discord. Deleted the Reddit account. I reported it to local police the next morning. They were polite and not very interested. They said there was no law against noticing a lamp. The account he'd used to first contact me, at Thornfield J, I did eventually remember, had been created 4 days before he messaged me. I've thought about that a lot. 4 days before. Which means he found me first. Then made the account. I have no idea how he found me first. Sometimes the fear isn't in what someone does, it's in how precisely they've been paying attention. Good night, neighbor. I'm a nurse, night shift, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I work 3/12s a week, and on my off days my sleep schedule is completely backwards. I'm awake at 3 in the morning eating cereal and watching things I won't remember by the time I sleep. Last spring I downloaded one of those neighborhood apps. Nextdoor. My building super had recommended it for local alerts, package theft, that kind of thing. Normal reasons. For the first month it was exactly what you'd expect. Lost cats. Someone complaining about parking. A woman on Oleander Street selling homemade jam. Then someone started commenting on my posts. Nothing alarming at first. I posted about a noise complaint and he agreed it had been loud. I posted a question about a local pharmacy and he gave me the cross streets. His display name was something like Mike R. Profile picture was a generic avatar. Listed neighborhood was the same complex I lived in. Over a couple of months his comments became more frequent and more personal. When I mentioned being tired from work, he said, "I see your lights on at odd hours, you must work strange shifts." When I posted a photo of my dog for a community pet thread, he commented within 4 minutes. He said, "She looks just as sweet in photos." In photos. I turned that sentence over for a long time before I understood what bothered me about it. I reported the profile. Nextdoor removed it within a day or two, terms of service violation, they told me, without saying which one. A few nights later I was in my kitchen, around 2:30 a.m., and I noticed my dog was standing at the front door. Still. Not growling. Just staring at it the way she does when someone is standing directly on the other side. I stood there. I didn't open it. After maybe 2 minutes she walked away and went back to her bed. I don't know if Micah was a neighbor or someone pretending to be one. I don't know if he was in the building that night or not. The app shows your general neighborhood, not your specific address. But my dog has only ever stood at the door like that one other time. The morning a maintenance worker showed up early and waited in the hall before knocking. Someone was there. I just don't know for how long. The next story was sent to us by a viewer who spent for months trying to convince herself there was a rational explanation, and almost did. He sent the last one at 4:12 a.m. I need to tell you exactly how this started because the beginning is what makes the rest of it worse. I'm a high school art teacher. 31. I live in Flagstaff, Arizona, in a house I've rented for 4 years. I have a roommate, or I did. She moved out in February, and I kept the lease. That detail matters. In January, a few weeks before she left, I got a follow request on Instagram from an account I didn't recognize. The handle was something close to my name, not my name, but adjacent to it, in a way that felt like a typo or a variation. Like someone had looked up my name and taken the nearest available version. I declined the request. Forgot about it. In March, I started noticing the account liking things. Old posts. Not recent ones, posts from 3-4 years ago. The account had no posts of its own. No followers. Following only me. I blocked it. A new account appeared within a week. Different handle, same structure. I blocked that one too. By April I had blocked 6 accounts. All variations of the same thing. No posts. No followers. Just watching. I reported all of them to Instagram. I got automated responses. You know how that goes. The first time it became something other than digital was a Tuesday in late April. I teach until 3:30, and I usually stop at the same gas station on Route 66 on my way home. I was standing at the pump and my phone buzzed. A new account, same pattern as the others, had requested to follow me. I looked up. There was a man sitting in a car across the pump row. He was looking at his phone. I can't tell you that he was the one, I can't prove that. He didn't look at me. He pumped his gas and left before I did. But I drove home shaking. Here is the part that I think about in the middle of the night. When I got home, I went through every account I'd blocked. I screenshot the handles and wrote them down in order. The first account, the one from January, before my roommate moved out, had sent me one direct message before I declined the follow request. I had never seen it. It went to a filtered inbox I didn't know existed. The message was from January 9th. It said, "It must be nice having company." My roommate didn't announce she was leaving until January 22nd. I have shown that screenshot to 3 people. All 3 of them asked the same question. How did he know she was leaving before she did? I don't have an answer. What I have is a new address. And a door I check twice before I sleep. And the habit, a new one, since May, of looking at the cars parked on my street before I go inside. The last account appeared on May 3rd. I blocked it the same night. It had been created at 4:12 in the morning. 4:12 a.m. in Flagstaff. I don't sleep well anymore. 3 people. 3 screens. 3 strangers who knew more than they should have. The details are what stay with me: the lamp in the corner, the dog at the door, the message sent before anyone should have known. It's the specificity of it. That's where the real discomfort lives. I want to ask you something directly. Has anyone online, someone you didn't know, or thought you didn't, ever reference something about your life that you never told them? Leave it in the comments. I read them. New stories arrive here every day. Subscribe if you want them. You probably locked your door tonight. But the window you forgot about, that one's still dark.